The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey there, good morning, sports fans, and welcome to your morning update here on Tuesday, December the 6th, 2022. We'll get underway with just some of the basketball scores from a night ago here, brought to you by Lionel Labor's Local 663. We'll start on the girls' side. It was Osceola over Wablo, 53-50. Benton out of St. Joe defeats Savannah, 53-32. Thayer over Bakersfield, 86-23. Worth County defeats DeKalb, 58-20. Mound City over North Andrew, 54-47. Princeton defeats East Harrison, 64-25. Schuyler County over Putnam County, 84-38. Pattonsburg over Winston, 49-41. Polo defeats Norburn, 68-11. Elsewhere, it was Seymour over Conway, 61-42. Principia defeats Confluence Prep, 48-27. Owensville over St. Clair, 74-27. Sullivan defeats Warrenton, 50-47. Central Bank of the Ozarks, strong roots, endless possibilities. Donovan defeats Fredericktown, 53-34. Osage over Richland, 55-35. Lebanon defeats Capital City, 61-52. Waynesville over Newburgh, 60-59. Brianna Hurd with her 1,000th career point in that contest. Bolivar defeats Springfield Catholic, 55-45. East Carter in overtime defeats Alton, 67-51. Bunker over Arcadia Valley, 56-52. Jamestown defeats Wellsville Middletown, 46-43. Tuscumbia over Lamont, 67-16. Coming to you live from the Pizza Ranch studio here on December 6th, 2022. Elsewhere in girls action, it was College Heights over Purdy, 56-27. Holcomb defeats Malden, 47-43. Osage over Richland, 55-35. Vienna over Stoutland, 46-44. Marionville defeats Verona, 75-31. El Dorado Springs over Buffalo, 62-25. Kennett defeats Seneth Hornersville, 62-22. Portisville over Twin Rivers, 44-33. Again, you're listening to the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, sponsoring our athletes of the week every week throughout the school year. Continuing with girls basketball, it was Afton over Melville, 33-24. Central Kansas City over East Kansas City, 52-14. St. Francis Borgia defeats Rosati Kane, 46-31. St. James over Cuba, 62-28. Grandview defeats Belton, 42-32. Oak Park over Winnetonka, 44-32. Lincoln College Prep over Smithville, 49-44. Lee Summit defeats Blue Springs, 44-42. Park Hill over William Chrisman, 45-36. Raytown defeats Raypeck, 60-28. Liuna, Labor's Local 663, Feel the Power. Building Missouri and Building Missouri State brings you our tournament scoreboards from last night on the girls' side. It was in the Pilot Grove Tiger Classic. Higbee defeats Bunston, 53-44. Northwest Hughesville, 54. Jamestown, 46. In the I-70 Conference Tournament, Santa Fe defeats Wellington Napoleon, 40-18. In the Monroe City Girls Tournament, South Shelby over Paris, 72-10. Monroe City defeats Mark Twain, 48. In the Centralia Tournament, Centralia defeats Van Far, 66-20. In the Black and Red Tournament at Herculaneum, it was North County over Crystal City, 65-27. Lutheran South over Grandview, 47-36. St. Louis Notre Dame defeats St. Pius X, 53-51. North County over Crystal City, 65-27. Herculaneum over Pacific, 44-32. In the Chaffee Tournament, Scott City defeats Meadow Heights, 52-38. Higginsville Tournament, Central out of St. Joe defeats Kearney 48-29. And in the Hermitage tournament, Hillcrest defeats Hermitage 52-20, and Max Creek defeats Hillcrest Junior Varsity 95-12. Saddle Ridge Golf and Country Club brings you the boys scoreboard from December the 5th. El Dorado Springs over Buffalo 47-37. Tipton over Clinton 80-59. College Heights defeats Miller 66-31. Galena over Greenfield 59-26. Eminence defeats Koshkonong 76-46. Wheaton over Northeast Vernon County 55-34. Schuyler County over Putnam County 76-59. Cuba over Salem 61-44. St. Elizabeth defeats Hermitage 56-30. Tuscumbia over Lamont 59-51. Pattonsburg 45. Winston 42. Clark County over Knox County 52-42. And Wablo over Osceola 68-33. The Bank of Billings, established in 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Locations in Billings and Marionville to better serve your banking needs. Continuing with the boys scoreboard, it was Washington over Owensville 64-56. Hillsboro defeats Summit 61-46. Lutheran North over St. Charles West 66-62. And Kingston over Fredericktown in overtime 73-70. Great Southern Bank, more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank, they care as much about your money as you do. Member FDIC. Monroe City tournament on the boys' side. Louisiana over Mark Twain 60-54. In the SEMO Conference tournament, New Madrid Central over Poplar Bluff 65-52. And Cape Notre Dame over Kennett 67-47. In the Lafayette County tournament, Lafayette County defeats Excelsior Springs 70-33. Winnetonka over Southeast 84-73. And in the St. Charles West tournament, Lutheran North defeats St. Charles West 66-62. And St. Francis Borgia over Francis Howell North 69-39. Scores brought to you today by Burgess and Associates, LLC, Security and Growth with Integrity. 401k rollovers, estate planning, life insurance, long-term care, and trust. Visit our websites at www.heathercalhoun.retrievevillage.com or go to burgettsandassociates.com on the website. To find out more, call 417-379-2157, 379-2157. And we'll be back after this short message from the Missouri Sports Network.
I believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support for life. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
Enjoy a fresh start to your meal at Pizza Ranch, where the salad bar is always included with your buffet. Every day you'll find garden fresh greens, colorful veggies, and sides for every appetite. It's the most refreshing way to balance out a meal while leaving plenty of room for your other buffet favorites. Convenient, fast, and fresh. It's the Pizza Ranch Salad Bar.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a time like this, in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's a lot better now.
It was like a huge weight lifted.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network. Certainly glad that you have tuned in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. My name is Guy Newcomb at Scoreboard Guy on Twitter. You can visit us at the MissouriSportsNetwork.com or go to Missouri Sports Network on Facebook. And as we wrap it up here, time for a little bit of today in sports history. In 1913, the White Sox beat the Giants 9-4 in an exhibition game in Tokyo. In 1925, a record 73,000 people paid to watch the Chicago Bears defeat the New York Giants 19-7. In 1930, CFL Grey Cup, Varsity Stadium, Toronto, Balmy Beach win their second and final title, defeat Regina Rough Riders 11-6. And in 1939, the fifth Heisman Trophy was awarded to Niall Kinnick, running back at Iowa, probably one of the more celebrated Heisman Trophy winners of all time. Before the 1939 season, Kinnick wrote, for 3 years, actually for 15 years, I've been preparing for this last year of football. I anticipate becoming the roughest, toughest, all-around back yet to hit this conference. He also wrote, I'm looking forward to showing Anderson what a real football player looks like. So hold your hats. Now Kinnick was turned down at Minnesota to participate because they thought he was too small to play. Upon receiving the Heisman at the Downtown Athletic Club in New York City, Kinnick made the following statement during his acceptance speech. Finally, he said, if you permit me, I'd like to make a comment which in my mind is indicative perhaps of the greater significance of football and sports emphasis in general in this country. And that is, I thank God I was warring on the gridirons in the Midwest and not the battlefields of Europe. I can speak confidently and positively that the players of this country would much, much more rather struggle to fight and win the Heisman than the Croix de Guerre. He tried out, like I said, he tried out for Minnesota. When it came down to Minnesota and Iowa, legendary coach Bernie Berman stated himself that Kinnick was too small and too slow to play for Minnesota. Another enduring story involves a game between Iowa and Michigan in the late 1930s for the Big Ten Conference title and or the Rose Bowl berth. Iowa trailed by a few points and threatened to score the winning touchdown on the final play of the game. On that final play, Kinnick was stopped right at the goal line. The officials conferred to discuss if Kinnick had indeed scored. Kinnick himself approached the officials to inform them that he had been, in fact, stopped short of the goal. After graduating in 1939, Kinnick went into naval service. He was attending law school and left 1 year and enlisted in the Naval Air Reserve after completing a speaking tour of Iowa communities and visiting his parents in Omaha. He reported for induction 3 days before the attack on Pearl Harbor. He wrote, there is no reason why in the world we shouldn't fight for the preservation of a chance to live freely. No reason we shouldn't suffer to uphold which that we must endure. On June 2nd, 1943, Ensign Kinnick was on a routine training flight from aircraft carrier USS Lexington, which was off the coast of Venezuela in the Gulf of Paria. Kinnick had been flying for an hour when his Grumman F-4F Wildcat developed an oil leak serious enough that he could neither reach the land nor the Lexington, whose flight deck was already crowded with planes preparing for launch. Kinnick followed standard military procedure and executed an emergency landing in the water, but died in the process. His body was never found. Numerous honors for Niall Kinnick have been created since his death. When the United States occupied Japan, they renamed the site intended for the 1940 Summer Olympics Niall Kinnick Stadium. A high school in Yokosuka, Japan, for dependents of military personnel is named Niall C. Kinnick High School. In the spring of 1972, the Iowa Athletic Board voted to rename the stadium in honor of the school's only Heisman Trophy winner. The Hawkeyes' first home game that year was with Oregon State. A pregame ceremony on September 23rd made it official. Iowa Stadium became known and is still known as Kinnick Stadium. Kinnick's father took part in the ceremony and was genuinely pleased. That's what we know. Glad you've tuned in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds you to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Have a great day, and God